I got nothing clever to say today. I'm just retweeting. Just retweeting. Nothing clever to say. I got, so last week, for the record, we had 0 Trello cards. I know. And that might have been a first, at least a first in a very long while. I am not that very Trello strong this week either, unfortunately. So hopefully you guys can pick it up. All right.
Don't we always pick it up? I mean,
I still got more Trello cards than John, so we're doing good there. You tell me, Tom. You tell me when to kick. Well, you got some music.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace.
You are entering the experience known as PHPUgly, episode 242. You're so lucky to be here tonight. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
What happened to that? I have nothing, and you come out of the gate like that? That was great.
I just vomit stuff. I don't know where it comes from. And Tom
I am actively not vomiting stuff.
I throw up in my I throw up in my mouth a little bit before every show. I
still got those nerves, I tell you.
This is how I keep it going. How was everybody's week?
Well, okay, you brought up vomit, so I got to tell the story. Sitting at my desk today, and I look over. I'm like, what's on my ground next to my dog? He threw up all in my office, and I'm like. My wife and kids gave him like a ton of edamame, and I could tell it from. It was just so gross. Sorry, I didn't mean to gross everybody out.
That's right. We want those people cutting what's it called, cutting rope early. Just get them off the podcast. We don't want them listening. We need to have them bail early. I think you did a good job there, John.
Perfect. Is everyone watching the Worlds right now?
The world?
Disc golf Worlds tournament going on right now?
Yeah. No, you're being too generic there. Of course I'm watching the Worlds.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that's what's on my screen right now.
Yeah, no, Vanderfluffen is just doing amazing.
No. Eric, how was your week? You start us off this week, because we always go first. And
you know how my week was. Oh my goodness. My entire week has been on the phone with you. I have not taken so many meetings in a week, I think, since I've left Enterprise. We had a couple podcasts to do this week for a PHP Architect, and I literally ran out of steam. Like, I couldn't even think of anything creative to say. It was exhausting. I am not a fan of meetings. I just am not. They were all meetings we had to take. So one of the cool things we're doing, as I fill air and wait for time to get back, is we have, this is all on John, and I'm giving him all the credit in the world for this because he's a good person. He's a much better person from that perspective than I am. But we've had a couple of employees now with PHPUgly who have been out of country. And we consider them employees, but the way we have to handle their pay, how we pay them is different. And more importantly, they don't get the benefits our U.S. Employees get. And this has always bothered John. Me, I'm like, fuck them. They move to the U.S.
Land of the free benefits, motherfucker.
You know? But this has always bothered both of us. And finally, we took action this week to kind of solidify the fact that they are employees. We're going to give them benefits. They're going to get insurance. They're going to get life insurance and all that other stuff. They get paid time off. So it's kind of cool. It felt like, I don't know, it felt like a good step for us to do. I mean, there is the we're protecting our ass aspect of it too, because we're not tax people and we're not finance people, although John does a really good job at it. And we're always asking, like we're always doing research, like are we legal? Are we doing this all legal? And we have been. There's no question about whether or not we've been legal, but again, it didn't feel right. Like they didn't feel like full employees to us, and it's always bothered us. So when we started looking to fill a position, and the question came up again of, okay, are we going to just look for U.S. because we were getting so much good talent that wasn't in the U.S. as well, and John's like, we've got to fix this. We've got to fix this now. Before we can do anything, before we can move on, we've got to fix this. And he fixed it. It fixed it fairly quickly, too.
But it did take a lot of phone calls, like he said.
Oh, God.
Monday was just back to back. So not only do we have our normal meetings going on, and podcasting, interviewing the companies that can help us with this, trying to make a decision, then running numbers and how are we going to make this all work. It was a very busy week. But I'm super happy with the company we went with and
what makes it
how
so
it's
difficult?
working out. Well, so you can't just get an employee in another country unless you have a business in that country. So the two ways of doing it are file all the paperwork, open up a business, PHPUgly in Canada or any other country you want to do business in, which takes a lot of time and a lot of money, or you use a third party that already has those relationships set up. So
these entities set up.
Yeah, so we interviewed a few different companies that do this, and they all do it a little bit differently. So there are some that they go and they find businesses within the different countries. They find their own third parties that you hire, your employee works technically for them, but they report to you or report to us.
And we pay them, and it's our benefits.
So
and I don't know how much John wants to pimp who we went with, but the group we went with was very interesting from a geek perspective, because the owner and a lot of the company came out of GitLabs. Right? It was GitLab, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I like them better because they didn't do this third party thing. They actually are taking the time. They're moving more slowly, but they are actually setting up entities in the different countries and hiring in those countries to handle legal and taxes and all of those different relationships versus being another third party. So some of the companies go with, you hire that company, they go to a third party and hire your employee. We went with remote.com, who does it differently, they have the entities already set up.
And
like
they seem
Eric
very
said,
geek focused.
Yeah, and they seem more high tech.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they're so they're not doing anything we can't do ourselves. If we wanted to, we could create an entity in Canada for Diego Dev, go through the process, all the legal process, and make everything legal. It's a lot of work and money for one employee, which is the reason why there are services like this around. But they brought up some interesting things that like John and I hadn't even thought of. And the biggest thing that kind of hit me for a spin was that legally they pay the employees in that country's currency. Whereas the way we've been doing it, there's a chance that what we're paying them and what they're receiving can fluctuate based on exchange rates.
Exchange rate, yeah.
Right. And so now they know they're salaried employees, so they have a set amount of money they're getting every week, and that's what they're getting. It's not going to fluctuate with exchange rates or anything else. It's just they get this every, and when they get paid, some countries can dictate like they have to be paid every 2 weeks, or they can be paid once a month or something like that. So they know what that's going to be as well. It's just things like that where, we just, it just felt good. It's like, wow, I feel so much better that they're being treated correctly now. Like we've always felt like we've done as much as we could for them, but, but there was always like these question marks, and now
it helps when you have a contractor say, I would like you to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we want to do it, and we just, it takes time.
Is this going to be, is there going to be an ongoing headache, or is like it's a done deal? You just don't have to worry about it for now.
So now it's anytime we want to hire somebody outside the U.S., we just go to this company, say we're going to hire so-and-so, here's the country they're in. Based on that country and location, you fill out a questionnaire. Again, every country having different laws. So you just fill that in real quick. They send off an employment contract. The person decides if they want to sign it or not. And then you're done. It's not cheap. I mean, it's definitely a costly service to have. But
okay, so how do you bear that cost? Is it up front when you decide that you want to hire outside of the country, or once the person has said, I will work for you, then you start bearing the cost?
Once the person says, I will work for you. So it's a monthly fee per employee that this company makes. So obviously, us as the employer have to take that into consideration when we're discussing salary. It's like, okay, we have this plus these fees over here. Just like any employee relationship, you have to take in all the additional costs, taxes, and any sort of benefits that you're going to have. Oh, I guess people should join us over in Discord. Tom, how did they get there?
Discord.phpugly.com. We've got PHP internals people. We've got Twitter superstars. We've got fucking Steve. Fucking Steve. They're all there. It's been interesting this week. I've really liked going through Discord when I get the downtime to do so. Eric created the Some Help Please channel, which I have not taken good enough advantage of, because I am hardcore testing for the first time now, and it has been giving me a bit of a headache with object mocking. And
why is that?
Well,
well, before you say that, what mocking library are you using?
Mockery.
Okay.
Although Laravel has a sort of a built-in functionality for mocking objects that are instantiated through the application service provider. So like you can just, if an object gets declared the right way in your Laravel app, you can just say mock this when it gets declared, and it works. And it's great. I'm just having trouble with a new factory that I've written getting to that step.
Really? Why is that? Because factories are normally the easiest thing to mock.
So in Laravel, there's an app.
You keep throwing that word out there, and then I'm just like, I don't know. That word was Laravel,
okay.
in case you weren't paying attention.
The question is why are you having trouble with that? It's usually easy, and it's because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just creating a new class in the middle of my application, and I don't know. Yeah,
that's why you can't do that. Well, I guess with Laravel you can, if like you said, through the service provider, it says, okay, instead of using this concrete class, use this mock. But in general, I find to make things more testable, you should not be using new anything.
And that's my
factory,
problem.
Which shouldn't have, right? Your factory should be able to be injected via the constructor or the method, like auto-injected.
Well, I'm doing a lot of new to me stuff in this application. The big thing is that I'm building a structure for a very extensible API system of API calls, and one of the things. Now, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Sherry Wheeler, the great Sherry Wheeler, said, "Let me go ahead and vent about Laravel all I want. Eric's not allowed to interrupt."
I'm trying to understand why you told Sarah Goldman to shut up. What's going on? What am I missing here? I'm about to kick you off the podcast, man.
Sarah made a South Park joke.
Oh, is that a South Park joke? Is your reply a South Park joke?
My reply is just punchy.
I stand by my message to you in Discord, Sarah. I will fly to Colorado and kick him in the nuts for you. Just give me the go ahead. Alpha Team go. You just say that.
Bold statement from a man with half a target.
Low blow.
Anyways,
that's a low blow.
Literally.
Have you seen how tall he is? It's not that low. Anyways, well, I started using.
You were all over the place.
I started using Laravel resources to build my API call, my outbound API call. And I realized that Laravel resources require you to pass in the request object for no good reason.
Right.
And
okay.
And that just started me down a road of being pissed off about some of the stuff with Laravel, where
but I do that often.
Sure.
Where you need a request object,
but it's not. It shouldn't be mandatory. And if you look up APIs in Laravel, one of the things that drives me crazy is it's all about producing an API, not consuming APIs. There's not a lot out there to streamline consuming an API. Oh, Eric's gonna hemorrhage. What's going on?
This is why I love having PHP internal people here. This is not what you're saying is not a Laravel issue. It's not Laravel. Sarah Goldman has posted because of PSR 7 or 15. They're not really sure which one, but it's a PSR thing.
Both. It's a request response thing.
Right. But
thank you. So don't be mad at Laravel. Don't be mad at Laravel.
But when you go out there and look up APIs in PHP, 99% of what you find is about producing an API, not consuming an API. And Laravel feels the same way. Laravel is about producing APIs, not consuming APIs. They have the new HTTP client.
Are you trying to consume, or are you trying to
I'm trying to consume
produce?
a lot of APIs, a lot of different.
Then why would you? Then
So
why are you using a resource?
Because a resource produces the API request format that I want. The APIs that I'm consuming want JSON with lots of data, base64 encoded files.
You can do that. You can do that all without using the
Right,
the
but
resource
the resource.
collection. So basically, you're trying to use it wrong, and you're mad because of how
I'm mad
how you
because
have
there's
to work
no
around it.
solution out there for standardizing a good format of an outbound request. There's lots of solutions for inbound request consumption, but a resource is the perfect. Like the way that a resource is structured is the perfect way for consuming.
Just create your own HTTP resource. Just create your own trait or HTTP resource. I guess I don't understand like a request, like consuming. I do this because the client we have, we actually have an application that all it does is create controllers to consume resources from different services, because the response from the service, I mean, I don't know how you're using it.
That's right, you don't.
But for us, like every response is different. Like what information we're getting back, how that information is presented to us. So again, it's you create a base class that does a simple API call, then you extend that class for each different service where you need the customization.
But
I'm not
a resource.
Is this your chip? Is this your chip you've been walking around with
Today?
Have you tried it in Livewire yet? Maybe you should do that. It's not a Livewire thing at all.
My issue is that the resource without the request object being required is perfect for formatting data to consume an API.
Well, just use the builder, the Laravel, whatever, to create the resource and then change it up.
That's what I'm going to do. But my chip, like Eric was saying, is that API consumption is given way little less concern than API creation. And I have one service. I have one service that needs to standardize 10 API calls. They all do the same thing fundamentally and generate the same positive or negative response. But they all have different requests that are required.
That's so hard to standardize.
But it's not on my end. On my end, it's just a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It literally is.
Right, but you can't standardize you can't. Right, but you can't necessarily standardize the consumption, because every API request, like, just because you're using some services that are similar, I mean, you start talking to a different API service that's returning XML instead of JSON,
and that's fine. But that's why the resource is the perfect solution for consuming, because
I don't. It sounds like you're just using the word resource as a name. I don't understand why you keep leaning towards the resource. That's not what how a Laravel resource collection is designed. So you can stop saying resource if you're using it for consumption, because that's not the purpose of that collection.
Fine.
So exactly what you just talked about, exactly what you just said is the APIs we have. It's the exact same thing. We consume endpoints from several different services. We have to standardize and normalize the data and give our client the same response every time. And it's just, like I said, we just had to create our own controllers to handle each service.
Well, what I have right now is a factory and a base abstract class. That gives me that lower end of the funnel where the things just turn into true or false. The concrete versions of my classes need to have a similar format, hence the abstract class. So what do I do for formatting data for the API request? If I want all of these requests to look the same at a certain point,
you don't have control over the format of the request, right? Because each service is expecting different information.
But I can control the architecture of the requests. I can say, hey, I'm going to make a request, so it's going to use this request object. What's this request object going to be based off of?
Well, I'm still so lost. Why this is a Laravel resource issue
now.
And not just it's
fine.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I mean, what we ended up doing, we may have even deviated from this, to be honest with you, but the original premise was that initial controller that everything extended was just, I mean, it basically just boiled down to a HTTP request, right? Or HTTPS request. And then each service container would structure how it was packing that request. And again, I don't know your specific use case, but in our use case, the requests were dramatically different from service to service.
Well, let's say I had to look up a person based off of their first name or first and last name.
Okay.
And I've got 20 services that provide different amounts of data depending on what that service provides. Like one can tell me my address, one can tell me my car type, one can tell me my house or income or whatever. But they're all originating from the same bulk of data in my user record. So I feel like there should be an ability to have a standardized formatter with that gets extended. And that's where
Roger pointed it out on YouTube.
DTO.
It's a DTO, a data transfer object.
So okay, so Laravel doesn't have a DTO structure.
But I'm so confused. It sounds like you're so locked into Laravel and Laravel's way versus
how do I
being the developer and
how do I mute John?
Creating your solution.
Where's the mute?
Yeah, mute John. I'll tell you how to do it with LiveWire and Vim. Just mute John first.
Yeah, you're right. That's a DTO, and I just need to do more reading.
That's why we're here, man. To make each other look bad and come up with solutions.
God damn it, we're good at what we do.
And hey, Spotty has a DTO package out there for you. Look at that. Imagine that.
I had one of my coworkers suggest a package today, and I looked at it, and the URL didn't say Spotty, and I immediately shot it down. He said, it's a bit of a work in progress, but it does what we like. And I said, yeah, it doesn't say Spotty at the beginning of the GitHub link, so that's not going to work for us.
Remember last week how I told you Derek was going to come and give a presentation on XDebug?
Yes. Derek who?
It was Derek Reethans, creator of XDebug, gave a little presentation to the group, and oh my god, it was very awesome. I mean, I still get to tell my favorite story every time XDebug comes up and how, we are where we're at, and we told it last week because of XDebug.
Was he angry?
About?
I just...
No.
whenever I read any post by him, it seems like it's just this like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I have to explain this to you people. Okay, Xdebug has to hook into here.
No, he was awesome. He went through, the basics and some more advanced things. And then afterwards, we broke up into small teams to try and tackle some bugs and show the people that don't use Xdebug how to use it. And I used a really weird hack of Xdebug that I found fascinating. So normally, you do your... How do I say this? We were stepping through a bug that was being reported, but it was in a post. And I didn't feel like setting up Postman or trying to set up the actual request within my account. I just wanted to get to the code. So I set a breakpoint at the beginning of my controller, and the first thing it's looking for is this a post? So I get to that point, and I override a variable and say, yes, this is a post. Keep stepping through. When it gets to the data, it's not in the post data, so it's blank. So I override it, and I set that data and keep moving on. But usually when you're doing debugging like this, you're going to go through it 2, 3, 4, 20,000 times, And I didn't want to, at every single step, override those variables. So I did a conditional breakpoint. And I don't know if this is a PHP Storm specific hack or it'll work in anything, but normally you can set a breakpoint and say, break here when this variable equals this.
That's a spy.
The hack, whatever. The hack is, instead of using $A equals 15, $A equals 15. So basically, I used a conditional breakpoint to make it look like I was in a post, that the variables were set the way I wanted them to be because they weren't part of the post payload, so that I could get down to the section of code that I was actually actively trying to debug. I thought that was fantastic. And for some reason I'm hearing echo.
I think
Nobody
conditional
cares.
breakpoints are a new thing with Xdebug 3 as well.
No.
No.
They've been there. I don't use them nearly enough. They're so awesome, and I
especially
never
in a
use
loop.
Yeah.
Doing it in a loop, if you want to break in a loop, but only once it gets to the 1000th item or a very specific item of your array, they're fantastic there. But using it that way was another. It was just an interesting way to use it. And then there's more advanced features of Xdebug within PHP Storm that I didn't even know were there. Now I can't even remember what they were.
They're probably in Visual Studio too.
I'm sure it's in Vim.
Have you gotten Xdebug working in Vim yet?
I did. I think I told you this last time. Okay, I can't say I do now though. Yeah, that's a whole thing. But the last time you asked me this, I couldn't remember if I had it working on my Linux machine. And Jesus Christ, Tom, I'm going to fire you as the OBS person. But yes, it was there. I tested it. It was working great. Now, I mentioned this last week. I am iterating through a bunch of Vim configurations currently, and I have not reinstalled the plugin for Xdebug.
I need your help. I started customizing the other night. Like I stayed up late and was like installing a bunch of plugins. And now when I start Vim, I'm getting all sorts of errors, and I don't know where I'm at.
Oh, I'll show you where I'm at right now. I'm actually very happy. So I've dropped that conqueror of commands, which I was praising about earlier. Now I don't know if I'm totally sold on that yet, but NeoVim, it continues to add features. This is the thing. This is one of the big difference between NeoVim and straight Vim, is the features that get added seem to be coming quicker. but NeoVim now has support for it. It has native support for what's called language server protocol (LSPs). And it's the same technology that's behind PHP Storm, VS Code, and it's a standardization out there that that's been defined to write these language servers. So NeoVim now has this out of the box. It's kind of what Conqueror of Commands plugin brought to NeoVim, and Conqueror of Command is still available for straight Vim, so it's still there. But I dropped that now. I don't know if I like it yet, but it does seem pretty complete. And I dropped a bunch of plugins that I was using before, like a ton of them, because the biggest one, the one that's freaking me out right now, is I dropped NerdTree, which NerdTree was this interface that allows you to do file navigation, and I haven't reinstalled it yet, and I kind of want to, but I got some direction on no, just use this instead, and I'm trying it out. I don't know where I'm at with that one yet, but I dumped a bunch of plugins, and I also found somebody who has, I don't know, I think a fairly sane starting point. He's a YouTuber. I'll send you his link because he comes out with some fantastic videos. Every time I'm trying to think of something to install or I want to know how it works, it seems like this person has a video on it. I'll send you his link. You can take you've probably already come across him.
No,
you can put it in the show notes, seeing as last week we had 0 show notes.
That's a great point. That's a very great point, and I will do that. I have to look him up and find where he's at. But yeah, I'll do that. Good point. Yes, we had no show notes last week. I mean, even like whatever we talked about on the show, we didn't put in there, which is weird.
All right, back to Xdebug.
Yes.
Xdebug Cloud is amazing. I mean, it's a little slow and clunky, but I mean, if you're using it just for debugging, say in production,
so explain Xdebug Cloud for me, because Eric was like so super weirdly against it. But I think it sounds great. What exactly is it doing for us?
You just love making me the bad guy, don't you, Tom?
So Xdebug Cloud is basically a proxy service. So if you think getting your web server hooked up back to your local machine, usually you have to go through firewalls, through a NAT gateway, your router,
security.
There's hurdles there to jump through. Where with Xdebug Cloud, basically your web server talks to Xdebug Cloud, your browser talks to Xdebug Cloud, so it's basically like a proxy. And what he's trying to do, and he has some work to do around it, because all in all, Xdebug 3 is way more secure than Xdebug 2 was. Right now, you have an API key for your server that you're using, but that doesn't allow multiple users to use that same machine. And when he started talking to us about it, we started bringing up some other concerns, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to fix that before 3.1. Because where he's going with it, we could all each have our own API key to Xdebug Cloud, and you basically pass it to your web browser or your web server and say, all right, I am API key 1. Now, you can communicate with it separately from me, right? But the problem is, Joe Blow down the street happens to have an Xdebug Cloud account and connects to your server and says, hey, I have API key 4. And you're like, wait, 4 isn't part of my account. So I have an API key. Give me the code. Okay, here's the code. So that's super scary. Hopefully he can... We gave him ideas for how to get around that, and hopefully he takes that to heart. But the fact that when you're working in production, sometimes you only run into a bug because of production data, whether it's the sheer amount of data or something's configured a little bit differently in production than it is locally, and you can't seem to recreate it, jumping onto a production box, turning on Xdebug, and going is great.
It seems like, despite what other people have said, a nice idea.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you guys are being serious or not. Another thing that came up, because Xdebug does way more than just step debugging. It does profiling, which is huge. It does code coverage.
I'm gonna expose myself here.
Oh God, not again! I thought the courts asked you
in a different way than last time. Step into and step over. I've looked for good answers on this for a long time.
Super easy.
Okay.
Super simple.
Go for it.
Step over. If you're at a line with a function, step over. You don't go into the details of that function. You just get the result. Step into, you actually go into the function and you keep stepping through that specific function. Is it
functions or is it any loop?
So if you're trying...
Like any bracketed thing.
Any time in your stack where you branch off to go to another place in the code, step into goes to that place, step over goes and runs everything else until it gets to the next line in that same file.
Okay. Excellent.
It's as simple as that. Step over just goes to the next line in the file that you're on. Step into, even if it's in the same file, goes deeper into the code. And then you can keep going through that. Step out just says whatever function I'm in, I'm going to step one step out of that. So it gets to the return statement of the function you're currently in, and then
but it's still executing the code in between. It's not skipping.
Right, exactly. Right, it's not skipping. It's not wasting your time making you look at every single line.
Right.
So step over would be like setting a breakpoint at the next line and hitting play, and then just letting it get to that point and stopping again.
Great.
Again, going into the other things that Xdebug can do, like profiling and code coverage. Code coverage is amazing just as far as your tests go. But like my mind was blown. There's a really cool way to find dead code in production. Turn on code coverage and let it run for just a small amount of time because it's going to generate a lot of data. But you then take all those files, concatenate them, and you'll find all the code that is actively being used on your site. And then you can start finding code that's not being used and then determine if it's really like, did it just not happen to be called in the time frame you were testing or you were running this code, or is it really dead, unused code, and you want to get rid of it?
And there's a number of packages for PHP that actually use that. They take that data from the code coverage and analyze it against your code. It's called tombstoning. So if you hop on packages, there's plenty of tombstoning packages out there.
Yeah, I wrote my own for this application where we actively add a tombstone to that section of code, and if it gets hit, it sends a Slack message saying, hey, for some reason somebody hit this code, and here's the request information, the server information.
I love that idea. I absolutely love that idea.
I love that name.
We need to do that more frequently.
Tombstoning something.
Tombstone?
God, I want to do that in a video game.
Okay, I got Vim questions in Discord I want to answer.
Go for it.
Buckle up.
Hold on, let me click this button real quick.
ButteryCrumpet. Yes, you are correct. NeoVim with LSP does require the 5 branch. That's supposed to be coming out any moment now. I've been running it for the last 2 or 3 months. Excuse me. Because I use a plugin that also requires it called Telescope, which is just an awesome plugin. So it's super
that
stable.
Vim question was so good he hit puberty. No.
Your voice went up an octave.
Yeah, my voice
went up an
yeah,
octave for a second.
Darling data. No. So I actually don't use a Vim info file. But in Vim info, Vim RC, whatever it is, it doesn't have to use the same configuration. What a lot of people do, and I am kind of, I think, recommending against it right now. I'm not sure, even though I did it and just about everybody else who switched to NeoVim did it. But NeoVim actually doesn't have a Vim RC file, or it doesn't overlap any of the existing Vim files. The main configuration file in NeoVim is init, init.vim. But what a lot of people in the NeoVim community are doing now are breaking out their files a lot more. That's kind of a thing. But what some people do when they first start off is they symlink their init file to their vimrc file because they are compatible. So NeoVim can run off your existing vimrc file. You can copy it. A lot of people symlink it because they keep bouncing back and forth. They keep changing things and they're not ready to commit. So to answer your question, you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't overwrite or go over any of your existing Vim files unless you tell it to, because it can. You can tell it, hey, use this path for my, undos or my workspaces or whatever you want to do. You can do that, but you have to configure it. Out of the box, it does not do that, so you're safe. There we go. Those are my Vim answers. I had fought my biggest Vim battle last week, and it almost caused me to stop my little experiment and go all the way back to my Vim configuration that I wasn't fully happy with originally. And it turned out that entire time, and this is weird, I've been touting how I'd fallen in love with TMUX, and all my terminal sessions now are TMUX sessions. I was having this really weird behavior in Vim when I started up Vim. It did this weird thing where I got all these zeros at the bottom, and it always fucked up my code somewhere. And it turned out it wasn't Vim. It was a setting. I think it was a setting in TMUX. Well, I know it's a TMUX issue because if I'm not in TMUX, I don't see the behavior at all. And the only setting I can think of is I have this weird thing in Vim. You can do your lead or Control A. You can do Control A, and it will increment a number that's under the cursor by 1. You can do Control X, and it will lower it by 1. Sounds weird. Sounds weird, yeah. But I use it.
I use it all the time.
Me too. So in TMUX, I switch my binding key to Control A because the default one is like Control B. So to get that to work in Vim, I have to hit Control A, and it works. I think that is screwing up with my my Vim. I haven't nailed it down. It just resurfaced, like literally before the show started. It resurfaced. I'm like, fuck, how did this come back? So I gotta keep messing around with it. But I'll show you. I'll share stuff with you, John, and you can show me what you got. I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. I'm still missing a few things, but pretty happy with it. Okay,
definitely.
I'm done with Vim.
Hey, guess what I bought
today? What'd you buy?
I bought Eric and I tickets to Longhorn PHP. Not saying we're going.
Not saying.
Are you going? We did it because
yes.
you told us to. You literally
yes, and
told
you've
us
communicated
to do it last
literally 0 until now. Oh my god.
It's still months away. So, I wanted to buy the tickets to support the conference whether I go or not. It's basically what it boils down to.
So still
I
not
want
an
to go,
answer. Still,
but I don't know.
Not
but I still don't know
helpful
if I'm going or not
at all. You understand, traveling
I mean,
for me is like a commitment, like a wedding planning situation, where like we can't
plan, and then you can back out if you want to.
That's how anxiety works. You are attempting to introduce an intentional crisis for me.
The conference is October 14th. I will let you know on October 10th if I'm going or not.
I'm not even mincing words. It's just gonna be homicide.
Darling Data, you asked about raffling off tickets.
Don't even
end
start.
Up not going for whatever reason, if Eric and I don't go, we are definitely raffling the tickets off to listeners.
I can just hear all the Diego Dev employees right now, like, what the fuck?
You can hear them because they're audible from here. From here, they're saying, "What the fuck, dude?" Oh my god.
I just don't know where the world's
when
gonna
you
be.
don't say what the fuck? You don't say what the fuck when you know what's going on when you know what's going on your server.
How would you know that?
HoneyBadger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Honey Badger.
For real, I'm not in DevOps, which this week has pissed me off because I want to get Honey Badger going like so much on one of my systems, and the DevOps guy was like, "No, we have a bunch of like strung together characters as a service that I've never heard of. It's awful."
Well, take control, man. Take control. Say, do you know who I am? I have a podcast. I will talk shit about you for weeks.
I already have one coworker who found out and listens to the podcast, and now I have to like be careful about what I say, and he's really, really, really good programmer. He's really nice. He's really nice.
That's not what you said before the show, Tom. Why are you changing your story, Tom?
Jesus Christ!
My God!
How do I
so
mute?
bizarre. You had such more colorful language about him.
Jesus!
Come on, Tom.
For some reason, I can only mute myself.
You should really take advantage of that more frequently.
You know I do.
Oh, man. I've been called out several times, and again recently, about being too mean to Tom. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously, I get hammered on more than anybody else
hammered.
On the show.
That's different.
And, no. Well, that's true. I just fucking Costco, stop carrying my scotch. I got serious problems here in San Diego. Costco doesn't carry Lagavulin anymore. And that's a huge problem because they were the cheapest by far. I might have to start paying retail for this stuff. I am not happy. And I don't have as much as I normally have in stock.
I think I still have the same bottle that our employees bought us a few years ago. If you're running out.
Yeah, I don't think mine made it home.
No, so. I know it didn't make it home. It's in the insurance report.
I break mine out at poker games, and I don't have nearly enough of those.
Never broken one out at a poker game I've been to. Oh, you make me bring my own.
Correct.
Jesus, man. Relationship has gone horrible.
Can I go off topic here for a second?
No.
And say I've noticed something interesting. That people have lost a year. And it's not, I know, some grand observation or anything like that. Except that people have lost a year in a way that they sort of don't understand. a lot of people I've been talking to lately reflect on things that have happened to them in their lives, and they're a year off in their estimate, like a full year off. So, like, I remember when we went climbing or on this one hike at Red Rocks, and it was amazing, you know, and that was last year. And I'm like, no, that was 2 years ago. Or like, I remember when this podcast started, and it was like, we've been doing it now. We've been doing it now for 4 years. I'm like, no, it's been 5. It's this very deja vu-esque thing where it's like, it's just a slip of the mind where you're not putting things together. Like your last physical with your doctor. So yeah, I haven't had a physical in a year. And then you look at the timeline of it, and it's actually been 2 years. The look Eric is giving me is so disheartening.
I'm so confused.
This was, earlier in the day, a profound statement, because I have a lot of friends who this has happened to. Where, like, they were saying, like, hey, you know, I remember when this thing happened, and my child was 16 years old, and you say, like, well, no, they were 15. That was 2 years ago. You're missing a whole year of nothing happening. And even for people who are introverts like myself, who don't do a whole lot, just like the mental math of things is a year off. I'm very disheartened by the complete lack of response from either of you.
I'm trying to figure out where it's
going anywhere. How about some doom and gloom? Huh?
Would love some.
We haven't done doom and gloom in a while. And we have a dedicated channel in Discord for doom and gloom. I thought I'd just run through a little bit of this. The big thing this week is that some families went to sleep in Texas with their house at a nice 70 degrees and woke up and their air conditioner was set to 74 degrees. It turns out that they had enrolled in a promotion to win a gift certificate or cruise or something like that. And the rules of the promotion were, hey, as your power company, we get to control your smart thermostat up to 4 degrees up or down, depending on the grid usage. And so the Texas ERCOT energy company this week did that. And people who had gone to sleep in a comfortable temperature while they were trying to save energy at the same time found themselves waking up at an uncomfortable temperature because the power company decided they needed to save money on them.
That's fascinating.
I don't know if I don't know if this is a San Diego thing or if this is a nationwide thing, but you can actually, it sounds like the same plan here.
Yes.
You can register with the power company and they will do this. And I told my wife we were absolutely not doing that because first thing, they kill your air conditioning when you need air conditioning. Like when it's the heat wave and you need air conditioning, they won't let you turn it on. I'm like, that's no, we're not doing that. We're paying the bill. We have solar. I will use the air conditioning during the day if I want to. I'm not putting a strain on their grid. They're already mad at me because I'm using solar. Now they want me to not use my solar to run my air conditioning because they're having issues with their grid. The whole reason I have solar is to take the stress off your grid, and you keep coming at me about that fact.
Your company is SDG&E, which is a multitude of problems. But SDG&E is one of the companies that has a free smart thermostat program where if you sign up, they will send you a smart thermostat of some kind and totally for free. And what's in the fine print is we can control your thermostat when we need to control load Also, we don't care about your current living situation. We're unaware of how many babies or elderly people are in your house. We just want to control our grid. This is one of those rights that people can give away that they should legally not be allowed to give away, in my opinion. Because
my question is, why would they not lower it to put strain on the grid so that they could charge you more?
Well, because they're already charging you
that's
for
good
the fire
thinking,
they
John.
started 3 years ago.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, so there's not as much strain on the grid right now. We have plenty of capacity. Let's just knock everyone down a degree or two.
If you live
Use up some of this extra capacity.
If you live in the San Diego area, you know about the nuclear breasts, I'll call them, between Camp Pendleton and San Diego proper, which has been shut down now for 10 years. So to them, it's not about capacity. It's not about cost. It's about capacity, because they don't run a sliding scale. They're still under some contracts with the government that they can only change prices so much. What they care about is grid stability. And they're not capable of providing the stable grid that they say they can provide, so they will screw customers to provide it. It's the modern brownout.
I want to make a proposal for the show. If you're not talking geek, you're not talking PHP, you're limited to a 2-minute window.
Fair.
You guys have Ledger wallets, don't you?
No, I don't have a Ledger wallet, actually. What? We don't have any. I don't have any physical wallet, actually.
You talking about for like cryptocurrency, or? I don't have anything on it
for
anymore.
Those that don't
yes,
know, a Ledger wallet is a hardware wallet for cryptocurrency. And there was...
I've never heard it called a Ledger wallet, but
Ledger is a brand.
That's a brand. Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't have Ledger then.
So the Ledger website got hacked, and the contact information for a lot of users got leaked. And hackers jumped on this and said, hey, we can't steal their cryptocurrency with just their contact information, but we can tell them that there's a bug in their Ledger wallet and send them a replacement. And the replacement we send them can be modified to inject malware to steal their cryptocurrency, which is exactly what happened. So some people started receiving very official-looking replacement Ledger wallets that they were told to plug into their computers, that when they did so, injected malware into their computer, designed specifically to steal cryptocurrency.
Well, I don't know how official looking it was. It came in a package, and it was instructions were like on a Word document that caused some concern for people. But yeah, I get what you're saying. So, John, I got a question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you not done, Tom? Please
I've
finish.
got months
your
of
thought
doom
there.
and gloom backlog here. Steak made from
plants.
Really?
Because you don't have anything in Trello to share with the Discord channel. So whatever.
All right,
John, did you watch that Tailwind video I sent you?
Did you send me a Tailwind video?
You don't pay any attention. I don't know why we consider ourselves friends at all. I just put it in the Discord link. It'll be in the show notes. I am not. I say this all the time. Look, we made Tom upset. He just walked away. He's done. I think he's left the show. I don't know how we're going to stop the stream now. I say this all the time. I am not a front end person by any means, but Tailwind. Well, the combination of Tailwind and Livewire, to be completely frank with you, has made that kind of goal reachable to a crud driven back-end developer like myself. And the Tailwind 2.2 was recent release, and there's just things going on in there. I'm like, holy crap! Why is everybody not using Tailwind? This is crazy. I mean, they have their own JIT, their own just-in-time compiler, which seems very interesting to me. I haven't implemented it myself yet, but it's there. But man, I'm sharing a link in Discord. I haven't looked at it, and I forgot to take notes to kind of give you guys more specifics. But there's all this such cool stuff in Tailwind now. It's to me, it's a complete game changer. I feel like. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, I do remember you sharing that. I did open it, and then I had a computer crash, and then I forgot to go back to it.
Check it out. And people in Discord, it's in the Discord link. If you're listening to the podcast, it'll be in the show notes. If you've been curious about Tailwind or what all the hype is about, check this video out. It's just so many layers of awesomeness in there. And like I said, for me, completely not a front-end person, it just makes doing front-end work more achievable. And I'm just really enjoying. The more time I spend with Tailwind, the more I'm enjoying it. It has gotten me between Tailwind and Livewire, I'm finding myself changing my structure a lot. Like, I'm creating a lot more components, like form components. I create form components now just because I want to make sure I'm matching the same style on all my forms. And but check it out. Check out the Tailwind.
That's the big thing with Vue too, though. Is Vue does the same thing where you create components, and it's not just form components, but any component. But you make it reusable to make the look, feel, interaction with your website as cohesive as possible from page to page or section to section. But yeah, I promise I will probably not check it out.
In that same way, I mean, Vue components as a sort of a universal UI UX language really requires something like Tailwinds. But we never talked about the Tailwinds JIT controversy.
Are you talking? Oh, no, not the JIT controversy. I'm not familiar with the JIT controversy is. I know there was some controversy around Tailwind. Looked like it had mimicked another CSS sort of framework a lot. It had taken a lot of inspiration from it. It didn't give them enough credit.
Well, okay, so the deal there was that Tailwind didn't give any credit. And it wasn't that it was like slightly inspired by, but it was walked through by the creator of the other framework. So there's Windy CSS. And the creator of Windy CSS was contacted by Adam Wathan. And Adam Wathan said, hey, your JIT thing is amazing, and I love it, and I want to learn more. And they had a conversation. Now, this is all from my understanding of the conversations. I know when we get into drama, I'm guaranteed to be wrong. But they had a conversation, and Windy is MIT licensed. There was no obligation for Adam to acknowledge the work that he had done with the creator of Windy, but there was a lot of bad taste in the air that he had collaborated with this other creator of a JIT implementation and then implemented it in his own system and said, look what I made. And as with all communication via Twitter, it wasn't great. There's not a lot of really good forward-thinking, non-confrontational conversation. So it was, for a time, a very, very controversial thing in the CSS framework community, I want to say is a thing. So, yeah, the JIT system is really, really cool. Okay, so Sarah's saying that MIT requires attribution. And MIT requires attribution of copied code, but not copied conceptual implementation. So the inspiration for whatever the Tailwind JIT ended up being doesn't have to be attributed.
Tom, do you have a link? I know what's the other one called? Windy?
Windy, yeah.
I know that the Windy people did a big blog post
so
on this.
there's
Do
a
you
Y
happen to have it? I'm not
Combinator
finding it.
breakdown of the whole situation that'll be available in our show notes, since we actually have them this week.
Okay. That would be helpful. Appreciate that.
But it's, this is the thing with all developers who help other developers is, when does attribution become an expectation versus an appreciation for the time they spent with you individually? Do you think your comp sci professors, when you write something that revolutionizes the internet? Some people do, some people don't. Almost everything I write has an RE thanks Tim Berners-Lee on it, but that's just me. That's a joke. Straight faces. Every joke I make, straight faces, just nothing.
You got to understand, for it to be a joke, it has to have some sort of humor aspect to it.
So I tried explaining that to my kids, and my wife said I was just being mean.
So you're trying to say we're just being mean?
If I follow my logic.
All right, I'll show I'm done. I'll show that how dumb I am. Who is Tim Berners-Lee?
The creator of the internet.
I thought that was.
You're gonna say Al Gore, and you're also
you're
also correct.
See, I knew I was smart.
Well, hey, let's talk about John McAfee for like 30 seconds.
Sure.
He got accused of murdering somebody and extradited to America, and once the extradition went through, he was found dead in his jail cell. He had said a number of years ago, during a photo shoot where he was holding a gun to his own head, that if he was ever found dead in a jail cell, somebody did it to him. He's been crazy for a very long time.
Eccentric.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. He's been solidly crazy. He was eccentric. He was eccentric for a while.
Wasn't he like in the bath salts?
He was eccentric for a while. Then he went crazy.
Really good.
You don't really come back from full-on rich crazy. So, we will miss you, person who promotes terrible things with no research.
Yeah, he actually got busted. The reason he was in jail, wasn't he in jail because of the cryptocurrency
that was
scam
one of
that
them
he was a part of?
The extradition, I believe, was still about murder, but he was arrested for pyramid schemes involving crypto. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Hey, Eric, I'm going to change subjects. Oh. Remember the mule sauce we got from Sticker Mule?
Oh. Yeah. Have you tried it?
Yeah, it's hot sauce. I mean, the whole point is it's supposed to be hot. But I was talking to somebody, and they have a good theory as to why we got that.
All right, let's bring everybody up to speed because it applies to our Patreon subscribers, our Patreon users. Matter of fact, why don't you go ahead and bring that up? So we went ahead and ordered new stickers so that we could get all our reward packages out finally to all the people who support us on Patreon. And when I did the order, it said, "Hey, you qualified for mule hot sauce." And I'm looking at it. It looked like a sticker, like in the interface. It looked like a sticker. And so I told John, I'm like, "Hey, the hot sauce." I'm like, "Hey, you should be getting stickers today. By the way, there's a hot sauce mule sticker in there. I have no idea why it's there. They just kept adding it to the cart. We didn't pay for it, so just give it to the kids or something." And John's like, "No, it wasn't a sticker." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, whatever." He goes, "It was hot sauce." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, they're not a hot sauce company.
It was a full bottle of hot sauce. So I was talking to somebody, and they have a good theory on it. A few years ago, hot sauce was like the hot swag people were giving out. So they would make their own swag, take it to a conference, and give it away. And for the past year, there's been no conferences. So they're like, "What are we gonna do with this?" "I don't know. Just give it to people that order shit from us." Take this off our hands, please.
This is like the most random thing to get in a sticker order was a bottle of hot sauce.
That is not the most random thing.
Thought they were just going to be. I just totally thought it was going to be like a bunch of hot sauce stickers. Like it was like some gimmicky thing that they did. And I never really gave it two thoughts after that.
Could have been a branded bottle of lube. That would have been much more random.
So, if you're one of these fine people on the now scrolling on our YouTube channel Patreon list, thank you. Thank you for your support. And if you haven't gotten your reward packet, John's working on that.
I am. I actually have them right in my hands. I've been holding off because we've been talking about that other stuff, and I don't know if I should hold off to that or not.
The Uggo stickers?
Yeah.
Do that. I can get those ordered. Because I missed I was gonna do a stack of stickers of our current logo as well to send out. So if you do wanna hold off, I'll go ahead and queue those up tomorrow and get those out to you.
How does one find our Patreon?
It's pretty simple, Tom. You just go to patreon.com/PHPUgly and you're there. We're there. We're them.
Have we updated our Patreon reward levels or anything in 4 years?
Well, we added the sponsor level, which is HONEYBADGER. And we keep giving way more rewards out than we actually say we're going to give. We only said we're going to give away stickers. We've been sending people keychains and lanyards and whatever we have laying around the office.
Bottles of hot sauce.
We just throw it in an envelope and send it to people.
Next new Patreon gets a bottle of Sticker Mule hot sauce.
Now you got
an open bottle containing our very own John Congdon's DNA. I assume you mouthed the top of the hot sauce.
Usually. How else do you taste it?
Yeah, no.
I'm a hot sauce guy too. Now I'm jealous. I have a whole shelf in my refrigerator of hot sauces, and when I go out to eat, if I know what I'm getting, I'll grab one of them and take it with me. I love hot sauces. I go pretty extreme.
Have I ever told you about the ducks? I'm only reminded just because you told me you're a hot sauce person. One day, whilst in my early 20s and drunk.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story.
No, I was at 7-Eleven and they had like a straight from China giant bag of rubber ducks that didn't meet the QA standards of the production line. Just like dent and ding rubber ducks. And I was drunk, so I bought them. It was like 30 rubber ducks for like $10. What a deal.
Worried how this is leading into hot sauce.
Because you're a hot sauce person. And what I didn't realize was with that single purchase and putting those around my house, I became the rubber duck person. So someone, like, for my birthday was like, hey, here's a cool rubber duck I found, and I bought it for you because I thought of you when I saw it. And I immediately had to throw all of my rubber ducks away. Like, I just had to trash the whole system because I'm not the rubber duck guy.
You could have given them to James Veach.
Everybody who's listening to my voice right now, please send Tom rubber ducks.
Says the PHP elephant guy.
Now
James Veach, if you're listening,
don't know who that is.
Send all your rubber ducks to him. You got to look him up.
If he's a rubber duck, I'll be amazed.
Hilarious. He does. He's a comedian, and you will know him when you see his videos. He does a lot of the responding to scammers videos.
Oh yeah.
And
what's his name?
James Veach.
James
Veach. But he also did this comedy thing with rubber ducks.
Don't recognize him at all.
What?
Oh yeah. I've seen this guy. He has a TED Talk actually.
Yeah, TED Talk where he does the same thing.
Good. Yeah, you're right. The scammers. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a great TED Talk, man. It's hysterical. If you have, I'm putting this in Discord. I'm putting this in Trello. You've got to watch this TED Talk.
If you now feel like sending me a rubber duck, 100%, I'm okay with that. But being the person who was identified as by somebody else as the rubber duck guy in my early 20s was like I could feel the cold closing in on my heart. It was very bad.
So I've always been, like, my entire family knows, and a lot of my friends know, if you want to give me a gift and you don't want to think about it, just make sure it has a Batman on it and you're good.
Yes.
It's legit, right? I mean, I actually enjoy getting duplicates of Batman stuff because I will keep one unboxed and then I can play with the other one. And the things people get me never cease to amaze me. My mother-in-law one year got me a used Batmobile big wheel that she got at a yard sale. This year, I think it got topped by everybody when my wife, for Father's Day, got me a Batman toaster that toasts the little Batman symbol in the bread. My kid looks at her and goes, Jesus, Mom, we have a really nice toaster. Why did you do that? She's like, no, we're good. This is his first one. He won't play with it. Just don't get him another one.
Keep it away from the bathtub.
But unfortunately, it's one of those ones, like, I've got to see if this works. I haven't done it yet, but it's like, it's making my brain itch. I want Batman toast in the morning now.
You know, there is a little bit of Batman news this week. One of those Batman items that you'll never see is the Batman dental dam.
Why?
Because it's true. It was confirmed this week that during an episode of Harley Quinn,
I mean, I know it's true. I got 3 of them.
Batman was supposed to exclusively pleasure Catwoman.
Yeah.
And DC said, heroes don't do that.
They're like, yeah, no, that's the line. Like, the line we were talking about, that's it right there.
And of course, Twitter gave me the best response to that is, if Batman doesn't do that, why does he wear a hat with handles?
Please end the show. Just end the
It's been an hour and
show.
30 minutes. I think
Please?
that's the end of this show.
We need to wrap this up. You can't yeah.
I have an
We're not
admission
going
to
down that
make.
path. And I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy in the show. You all remember that when you're sending me that hate mail. Like, you remember these conversations.
That should be a reflective moment for you, not an excuse. What?
Huh?
I've been watching a lot of Hoarders. Hoarders is such an amazing show. But good God, it's depressing. I threw it to you to end the show and you didn't.
Okay, that's it. We're done. Episode 242.
In the Bat Bag.
It's in the books.
The Bat Sack.
I'm Eric.
The Batchel.
I'm Eric. Please finish this.
I'm Tom.
I'm John.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
What? No good.
Where's the music?
Music.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube.
I forgot to wear my hat. I was wearing my hat today that I got for Father's Day. It's not a dad bod, it's a father figure.
Oh, you've seen my hat.
Bump. Holy smokes! I got people turn fan on.
Well, I'll do things.
Here. Hold on.
I guess you're just stuck here with me, just chilling, hanging out.
You're supposed to rap for them. What are you doing, man?
You see
what?
That?
Is it a GIF? Yeah.
Quick. Nice one, Kevin.
Nice, Kevin. Thank you, darling Data.
Yes,
thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Love the hat. Yes. I'm not a black hat guy, but I've been wearing this one. So, yeah. This is
we got it for you. You said it was a Father's Day gift. Kids?
Well, I only have see, I'm only the father of a couple of people here. Yes.
Well, your wife can get you Father's Day gifts.
That's true. Yeah.
Technically,
it probably came from the wife.
I did not get a hat. I got a Vitamix.
If you watch Hell's Kitchen, people lose their shit over Vitamix. They love the Vitamix.
I do not watch Hell's Kitchen.
Oh my God, the Vitamix is like the pinnacle of gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Like they get their Vitamix and they go
you're
nuts.
Thinking of Hell's Kitchen?
Yep.
I don't.
It's pretty awesome.
Hell's
Kitchen. Yeah, that's the one where the chefs compete. Yeah,
well, they're all the ones where the chefs compete.
Usually around the end of the season, they usually the final 4 or 5 chefs of one team, when they win one of the challenges, they get Vitamixes. trust me, I've just marathoned the last 12 seasons of it because reasons we're bored. It's one of the shows the wife and I can agree on and watch.
There's not much good television out there right now. It's very upsetting.
Well, stuff is starting back up. Rick and Morty season started back up. What else just started back up that I didn't know about?
Well, I just saw
There's been a couple of things.
Making It is aired today, and Making It is one of my favorite shows.
Did you watch The Affair? If you're looking for shows like with the wife, we have very few that we watch together, but The Affair on HBO, I think it was pretty good.
I got my buddy to watch The Leftovers.
That doesn't sound like something.
Have you guys seen The Leftovers?
That sound like something I want to watch with the wife.
What?
No.
The Affair?
Yeah, I feel like I have seen Leftovers.
Been watching a lot of It's Your Fault with my wife.
What's The Affair about, John? There's 5
exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, it was one of those shows where we started watching and we're like, huh? But then we're like, binged it. It was pretty good.
Why would you watch this with your? This seems like a terrible show to watch with your wife.
The pitfalls of a happy, stable marriage.
Oh.
Yeah, what did
The Leftovers is good.
Watch?
The Expanse is one of the best shows on television right now. Yeah, The Expanse is mind-blowing. And so well written.
Is it sci-fi or
it's hard sci-fi.
It's the hard. It's hard to sell that to the wife.
I think she'll go for it.
Wow, that's got quite a few seasons.
I've been watching Sweet Tooth with the wife, which we get one episode every couple days, and that is a heartbreaking show, but it has introduced me to the worst song ever written.
I jokingly, when we were going through stuff, I saw that and I was gonna watch, and she's like, "Go ahead." I'm like, "No, I'm trying to find a show both of us will watch."
She'll love it.
She's like, "Just watch it."
It has the cutest main character, well acted, well costumed. I mean, it is adorable in post-apocalyptic America. It's fantastic.
Oh, are you watching the Loki series?
Wow.
I am.
So impressed.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm not through episode 3 yet.
I haven't watched
nothing from last night. I started it. I started it today after work, but only got through
the brilliance
10 minutes
of Loki is the moral ambiguity of the character. Because he states that he wants to control in episode 1, he wants to control humanity because when people are given choice, they make the wrong choice inevitably. But in the same scene, when he's told that there's an established timeline, he fights it. He's so aware but unaware. And he's such a good actor. I'm so impressed with Loki. Mm-hmm. Falcon and Winter Soldier was garbage. WandaVision was fantastic.
It was. I see. I liked Falcon more. Actually, it's Captain America now, but I liked that better than I couldn't even get through WandaVision. It just got too stupid for me. I'm like, all right,
WandaVision was a very slow burn.
I liked it,
but Falcon and Winter Soldier, the end of the show, just happens.
The payoff was totally
no, it wasn't. It was horrible.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Where'd he get the?
Okay,
the show is about him being broke.
They sent it to him. They said, didn't you see the Wakandas gave him that box? You see him open it. The Wakandas gave him the outfit.
Right, But he's so broke he can't pay off his boat. Right? Like, he's wearing $1 billion in nanotechnology.
And the social aspect of it, the fact that he is a black man in the country and how he's being treated differently, even though he was an Avenger. Even within the black community, they were calling him the Black Falcon. He's like, I'm just the Falcon. I'm not the Black Falcon.
But that's a reference to the fact that he was the Black Falcon.
And they touch on the fact that that the same thing that they did with Steve Rogers, they did with black soldiers, except they put them in jail.
Yeah, but it was
after a while.
But they did a terrible job of it.
Oh my God! They tried to fit a lot in.
Yes,
in
they did. They tried to fit too much in.
That was evident.
Also, they're like
their control though.
They're trying to make the IRA look like the victims. Like their whole thing with the.
No, they weren't making them look like the victims. Yeah. They were just trying. They
Problem
were trying to
one
represent
is
the
when
fact
I say
that
the IRA,
the
you know who I'm talking about.
Always see themselves. They don't always see themselves as
but they weren't the bad guys,
right? That's the prop.
They were 100% right. That's it. Fuck, Sarah, Jesus Christ.
I tell you, we need to get Sarah.
No.
On the show. We need to replace Tom and Sarah.
She will
let
drown one of us out, and it's not going to be Eric. No, listen. They talked a lot about these very interesting racial disparities, but guess what? They did it all really poorly. Like every time they tried to do it, it was a shit example. Except for the one conversation that Falcon and Winter Soldier had with the psychologist in the first episode, where they like start to have a breakthrough and the psychologist clearly doesn't acknowledge it. And then they like get up and leave and never see the psychologist again. Where like they literally lay down the premise of what should be a good TV show in that one scene where the two of them are dependent on each other emotionally because of the hole that Steve Rogers left. But then they make it about the fucking Shield, which isn't a great icon because it's not even the real Shield. Like, the whole... It was so contrived. It was just such a... Ugh. The writer was a bad writer. The director was a bad director.
You spend way more time thinking about it than I do.
I think about that show a lot because it was bad.
That's my problem with the whole... all the universes. Marvel, DC, Transformers. It's like, I don't pay enough attention to the behind the scenes or the, like... in between things to know how everything ties together. I watch a show, I watch a movie.
But why the emotional impacts are impactful can be observed and analyzed. And the fact that Winter Soldier had so many incredibly weak moments is demonstrable. You can say, like, this was an incredibly fucking weak moment. You know, this revelation that Bucky knew that there were black super soldiers who were treated poorly. Like, Bucky leads Falcon to this house in, like, a kind of rundown suburb where, like, it's just, the whole thing, it was so trite. It was so poorly executed. It was pandering. Loki, on the other hand, doesn't have to pander to anybody.
I disagree.
Loki is just, hey, what is free will? And like that's the whole question of the whole show is what is free will? It's fantastic. You saw the second episode. Did you guys ever see Seven? The Brad Pitt movie?
No. Oh,
I
yeah.
love that.
Years
There's
ago.
a scene in Loki where, like, I dropped my beer in the second episode. because it's like a shot-for-shot remake of a scene from Seven. And I was like, why are they doing it? Why are they doing this? It doesn't make any sense. Why are they remaking Seven in Loki? Because it's... I heard the music in the library, and I was like, that's the same song, but it's only 2 seconds of it. But then they cut to the next scene, which is in a diner, and Loki's trying to explain that he had a breakthrough, but it's not, like, they can't legitimately investigate it. They have to do it under the nose of the Time Force. And it's like, line for line, it's like somebody rewrote it as they heard it. It's so weird. It's not an accident or like...
I'm not following it. I'm not following it. I mean, I believe you. I'm just not following what you're saying.
Well, Loki is like making an homage to a lot of stuff, but making an homage to Seven is a really pointed statement. Something like...
What's the statement?
The statement is that the antagonist is a sadist. So, like, there's that scene where he's talking to Mobius, and Mobius is like, you enjoyed stabbing those people. You enjoyed killing those people. And Loki's like denying that he enjoyed it. He said he had to do it. But the killer is purely a sadist. Like, the killer openly admits and does enjoy the murdering aspect of the whole process. But they have a very specific lesson to teach. And the lesson is about free will. The lesson is about following the rules, following the law. Like, yeah, Sarah, you know what I'm talking about. That scene where he's in the library going through the books and he finds the book which blows the case open, but they can't investigate it because investigating it means breaking the rules of the police department, which is exactly what they do. They quote Seven several times, like, I was going to eat that salad. That's a quote from Brad Pitt. I was going to eat that sandwich. Like, when Loki starts fucking with the salad that Mobius is trying to eat, that whole scene is like a direct double of the scene from Seven. They're trying to say something else in this movie, in the show. So,
that's way too much analysis for me.
By your stunned silence, I recognize that we should go.
Just exhausted and ready.
It's the same song, yes. But it's only for 2 seconds. And when I heard it, my ears like went straight up. It's Brooks.
Well, you're too young for Seven. Like, I barely remember it because it was...
No, it's not Brooks.
No way, really?
No.
Seven? Yeah, it was like...
I'm older than you.
It's the early 90s, wasn't it?
Here, let's see if I can...
95, you're right. Wow.
It's one of the most brilliant movies ever made. It's David Lynch, like...
That movie messed me up, man, for so long.
Still does. Still gets me. I watch it every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm not in... Really? Why? I'm just not into that type of movie.
Exactly. Movies don't decompose. Put some music on.
You're gonna get us banned.
I don't think it plays on the stream. But this is Violin Concerto by Mozart, and it plays for like 2 seconds in Loki. But the moment I heard it and I saw Loki in a library...
Are you sure it's 2 seconds, Tom? Are you sure it was 2 seconds?
Sir, you got me there. My point was more, how does he have it so well memorized? To me, Seven is a movie I watched once. I'm like, okay, I got the point and moved on. Not I watch it every year.
10 times.
With
we watch it for Christmas every year.
Seven is one of the greatest movies ever made. David Lynch is the greatest filmmaker ever And 7 is like his masterpiece. He tried to do it again with Gone Girl, and it is good.
For real, Discord needs the same thing Slack has, where you can collapse images, because seeing Batman dance is driving me nuts.
I totally agree with you. It totally needs that whole collapse thing. I looked for that the other day, actually.
If I delete it, does it delete just for me or delete for everybody?
Did it just
for
delete?
everybody. Thank you for you bastard. You just deleted Batman.
I was testing the theory, okay?
Response. God damn it, Tom. Kevin. It wasn't me that did that. It was these jerks.
It was not me. I was just curious. I asked the question.
Can I delete other?
I'm gonna boot you. You do it again, I will boot you.
Let me find something Eric said.
All right, let me reduce Tom's privileges here. Jesus Christ, misuse of power there. Oh, yeah, PDF. There you are. PDF. Let me see. Boom.
That's a South Park reference.
There, you're done.
PDF. Wait, can I not delete things now? No.
And you're not at the top of the list on the right anymore.
Oh, is he not?
Yeah. You're way down at the bottom.
I'm not even sure how to add him back. Frank's a mod. Frank's got more power than you.
Alright, I can still add a note to your profile, though, for myself. It just says bastard.
Yeah, I'll put you back. Don't delete shit, man. Piss me off. You pissed me off, I
Questions were
delete
asked,
you.
I answered them. Alright.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks
everybody.
for hanging out with us. We appreciate it.